On today's episode of the Warne's Way podcast, I'm joined by the man and the reason that Dad was number 23, wanted to have a mullet and play AFL. Welcome to the podcast, Dermott Brereton.
Hey, Jacko, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are
Wanted
you?
to have a mullet.
Yeah.
We all did.
Yeah, we all wanted to have the mullets, the earrings, the personality, the out there. I reckon Dad got a lot of that from you.
Yeah, well, I remember the first time I turned up at the footy club, coming straight out of under 16. I was, 15, played under 19. 16, I played against men in reserves.
Yeah.
So I played as a 16, 17-year-old in the AFL reserves. And then after about the second year, I had an earring and the coach told me off. And then once I'd played a few games and started to tip the hair and just grew it long. Wasn't even my favourite band, Bon Jovi, but I liked their hairdo, so I had to grab my hair like that. And then I had a stud in here, had a hoop in here, and then I thought, oh, that's a bit light on, and I had a hoop in there, a bigger hoop in there, and a little hoop in there.
Yeah.
Nothing these days, but it was all about flamboyance.
Yeah, and I was really happy when I was watching all of your old interviews and doing a lot of the research. And even Kaya agreed as well, my girlfriend. She said, gee, that sounded a lot like your dad when I was watching your interviews and everything. And I don't know if Dad ever told you this, but definitely watching how you articulate your thoughts in interviews, your eye contact with the host, all of that stuff just shows and radiates confidence. And Dad was the same, and I loved seeing that from you too.
Yeah. I mean, that took a while to get. I was pretty shy as a kid.
Yeah.
Somebody showed me my very first interview ever the other day.
Yeah.
So my first game was in a final, and fortunately enough, got in the end of a few good ones and kicked 5 goals. And so I just turned 18 by 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I'm on the front page of the Herald Sun. I'm on the back page of the Herald Sun. And my coach, Alan Jeans, very staid, ex-policeman, very calm. And he's like, you're not allowed to do any interviews, all right? And I'm like, oh, I would have loved it. Anyway, so the next week, I'm thinking 5 goals last week.
Trying to get
5 this week.
Yeah.
I only need to play 200 games and I'll kick
1,000.
Anyway, so I played on a bloke a fair bit of time called Bruce Dool. I got 2 kicks.
Oh,
He
no.
took me off the ground. And I got interviewed after the game. They let me talk to him. And I was just like, pretty disappointed. Yeah. I was the worst interview ever.
Yeah.
But you learn, you grow. People don't want boring.
Yeah.
As much as you could play sport, Jacko, if I go to watch a sporting contest, I want to be entertained. And if there's a little bit of flamboyance on top of, never let the contest, never let what you are doing in terms of your pursuit of your goal to win the game, never let that get hindered.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong if you can do that and put a little bit of flamboyance in there as well.
Exactly, and show your personality, which I love to see because Dad was the exact same. And you mentioned your want to win and never letting sort of your personality or anything like that get in the way. That's one thing I loved about you and Dad. You both were like ruthless and might not be the best word, but killers, and you always wanted to win. You do absolutely anything to win.
It's a good description.
And and I noticed that when you're in your interview saying that as well, and so is Dad. Did you two ever talk about mentality or mindsets of sport and winning?
A little bit.
Leadership or?
A little bit. I know that the times that Shane and I spoke, we just both ended up at the same 3 words, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And some people would say, well, that's not terribly sportsmanlike. But that was the era. I mean, there is sportsmanship, and I love to think that I could have sportsmanship. Most of the time I incorporated sportsmanship when I was winning, not the opposition. But whatever it takes. And the old man was the same.
Yeah. And Dad said it heaps of times, like there was a time in his life where his priority list were cricket and then it was family.
Yeah.
Were you ever, when you were just really into the footy, was it ever footy and family, like you just, when you were so in your flow state, you were winning, you're at the top of the game, that your priority list was whatever it takes? I'm a winner. Football's everything.
So, that's a great question. That's the first time anybody's ever asked me that, Jacko. Great question. I didn't get married till I was 29. I only had 2 seasons after I got married. My daughter was born in the last season. She was born 2 days before the Anzac Day, the first Anzac Day game between Collingwood and Essendon.
Yep.
Yeah. I get asked about that old 1989 grand final where I got busted up in the first 3 seconds of the game. And I would talk to people about my priorities. How did you get up? How did you keep playing with a split kidney and broken ribs? I said, you got to understand, I was 25. I wasn't married, didn't have kids. And as a young boy, all I ever wanted to do was play league football. All a young league footballer ever wants to do is play to win. And when somebody who wins as much as we did, all I ever wanted to do was play in grand finals, win grand finals. So the most important thing for me in life was playing football and winning football, winning our way through to a grand final. And ultimately, the most important moment in my life was grand final day up until when my kids were born. So it was totally centred around playing football, my being. Somewhere along the way, girls got in the way of things and cloud things up and a bit of confusion.
Yeah.
But truly, the centre of my being was just about playing football and winning football. Yeah. And I can understand your dad saying that.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of guys who would feel that way who didn't possess the talents of your father, or in football, my talents, who feel the same way. They just didn't possess those talents, so they didn't get to exude that sort of mindset. But it's a rare beast that has that mindset, that has that sort of God-given pure talent.
And people like you and Dad and that mindset doesn't come along very often. It might be once or twice every, 50, 100 years. It's a very rare thing to see. So when people see it, they're just naturally drawn to it. They're entertained by it and they want to see you win and dominate.
Yeah.
And I like to use the analogy of it's like an MJ in AFL or a Tiger Woods in golf. Sorry, did I say Michael Jordan in the AFL? Then sorry, Michael Jordan in basketball.
I was thinking, hang on, who's an MJ?
Michael Jordan in basketball,
NBA,
Tiger Woods in golf, and just seeing these elite athletes dominate their sport for such a long time. And like you described it, winning grand finals, it wasn't one of those things that when you win it once, you're like, okay, it's no, I want to win it again.
Yeah.
I want to win it again. And it's that mentality that you just naturally have it or you don't.
So people would ask, you got that mentality? Because that mentality comes along from somebody who's been slapped around as a kid, somebody who doesn't win as a kid. So my brother was 2.5 years older than me, and he was big for his age. And I was average to higher side of big for my age. Not once in my childhood did I ever beat my brother at any sport. But I was close enough age-wise to be competitive every time. So I'm convinced that from, what's the age? You're probably 2 or 3 where you start fighting over Lego blocks, and then you're 5 or 6 when you're playing backyard cricket.
Yeah.
You're 8 or 9 when you're actually playing backyard footy. And then you're wrestling, real fighting. Not once did I ever beat him in anything.
Yeah.
But I was always close enough to think, with extra effort, I will beat him next time.
Yeah.
He's passed away now, but he's gone to his grave without me beating him ever once.
Yeah.
But he formed that personality. So on top of the talent, I had that personality that said, with just that little bit more of, I can win.
Yeah, that mongrel him.
And that's rare.
It is rare. Yeah. And Dad used to describe it as the C word in you. You've got to have that C word in you. But
because most people who have that don't have the talent.
Yeah.
Because they've have had to have fought their entire life. Yeah. So when you get the luck of the draw, you get that personality and that God-given talent. Yeah, it's a rare breed.
And you mentioned a really important word, effort. And that's something that Dad always used to mention to me. And he said, effort is free. It literally requires nothing. So when you're out on the cricket pitch or the footy field or at training or at home, whatever you're doing, that effort is free. So you, in theory, are only getting in. You're only getting out what you put in. And it sounds like you were the exact same with everything you did as well, especially growing up.
my feelings on that was not that the world can ever be supply two athletes who are basically identical in physiology, but if they did, you had the most talented player of all time v the equal most talented player of all time, and there was, if you could test them some way in a laboratory and they say, no, they're totally equal. Which one wins?
Exactly.
The one with the better effort.
Yep.
Because one will mentally go, I'm going harder than him.
Yeah.
I have no cut-off point. I will go one step further.
Yeah. Well, you'll do exactly the 3 words, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of parallels I've noticed with you and Dad as well, especially you mentioned you were just that little bit closer to your brother, but he always was beating you. Back in Dad's earlier career when he first was debuting and playing test matches, especially in AFL actually, what spiraled him to greatness or wanting to actually play cricket was getting that letter from St Kilda saying your services are no longer required. So it was actually that no that was like, well, hang on, and that started that anger and frustration, and went to England, started taking up cricket. But it's all those early knockbacks that actually build resilience.
Yeah.
And it was even the earlier tests in his year when he was getting hit for 0 and 150, and the Alan Border and the captains at the time, and they were saying, no, Shane, we'll support you, we'll back you. And he had a stinking first few test matches, but as soon as he got that one game and that bit of confidence and taking a few wickets, and then after the Gadding ball and a few of those tours, his confidence and ability just went skyrocketing.
Yeah.
Were you a bit like that as well in the first few games that you had, that resilience and getting knocked back early just went like that, or was it always consistent?
Not exactly like that. So, yeah, I remember that. I went to the MCG and saw one of those early games.
Really?
And, oh, man, I love my cricket. I love my cricket. Yeah. I mean, I'm blessed to have the footy career I had. Yeah. And I've told your old man this. Would I have swapped places with anyone? No. I'd give back a couple of those premierships, though, if I could have open bowled for Australia.
Yeah.
But as I said to him, a slinger who bowls at 125 k per hour is not going to open the bowling for Australia. But I love my cricket. Yeah. So I used to go along and watch. I watched Merv play his first test, a home test as well. Just went in there to see Merv play because being AFL, we get those tickets as well. No, I still play. Your old man gave me a bat. I've still got it.
Did he? I saw. I was. Were you playing in a charity game or a local game last year as well?
I still play.
Still play? Do you?
I still play. Still play local cricket. I play local cricket with my mates. I can't help but be competitive, Jacko. I just have to.
So you still
I've just had a new knee put in. That's 6 weeks old. I missed the last game, the second last game of the year. I got 70.
Wow.
So, so I used your old man's bat that he gave me. I said, give us your heaviest bat. And I'm not a small bloke. And he's given me a bat that weighed about £2.8, £2.9. And I've gone, that's like a table tennis bat. And he said, no, it's pretty heavy for what we use.
So you could just whack it.
Yeah, you're playing our grade. You use 3-pounders and the miss hits still clear the field. Yeah.
Wow, so you'd be an all-rounder then because you would open and batting.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to any of the other test matches when Dad was playing, like around the Boxing Days?
Yeah. I went to quite a few. Yeah.
Were you there for the 700th?
I wasn't. I listened on radio. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to be one of those blokes who comes out of the... I was there that day. I have met... I think there was 90-something thousand there in the 1989 grand final. I've met 100. I've met 100,000 people say, I was there. So, no, I wasn't there for your dad's 700th. But, it was awesome how we ran the semicircle.
I've always said it was like the fastest we've ever seen him run. Was after he took that 700th and just running and sprinting and doing this, fastest we've ever seen him run.
You know what I loved about that is, and we watch sport now and like, you and I love our Aussie rules as well. And you see blokes kick goals and they do this celebration and they do the flex and they do. It's all manufactured. Your old man's sprint there was not the one time. It was one of the times where there was just pure and real emotion on his face. I loved seeing that because it's something that really meant the world to him. Yeah,
it did. And it was like he described it to me that because like in cricket, you don't know if that ball's going to be the wicket or the next ball's going to be wicket. So when he was on 699, he said every time he picked up the ball and was getting ready to bowl, he could just feel the crowd and the energy, that anticipation and theatre building up to that one moment. And when it didn't come for an over or 2 overs, And then it finally hit. He said it was still to this day the loudest he's ever heard the roar at the MCG.
Yeah.
It's
You could hear it on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching him once get really emotional as well. As I told you, I'm a cricket nuffy.
Yeah, no, this is great.
I think it was Tugger was captain. And as you know, Shane and Tugger probably didn't have the best captain-bowler relationship. And it was a long time. It was South Africa. And it was a long time before he brought him on. It was a couple of hours, at least, like 2.5 hours. And eventually he bowled someone around their legs. It was like 45th over or something like that. Yeah. And he even bowled himself and his brother, Mark War, before he bowled Shane.
Yeah.
And you could see the anger on Shane. And then when he bowled... I forget who it was, around his legs.
Yeah. Is this when he walks up to him and goes, and fuck off? And
yes.
he's got the white zinc.
You're allowed to say that on
it,
right?
Of course you could say.
Yeah, and he goes, you can. He got fined, I think, a couple £100 or something, euros, whatever it was, rand.
Yeah.
But that was more directed at why would you leave me out of the bowling attack for 40-plus overs? Yeah.
And that's what I love when I'm watching all of Dad's highlights is you can see he is not afraid to show his personality, even if it involves swearing or sledging. He was always quite smart about it, but he also was emotional, but he used those emotions in a really strong and powerful way. Like that anger, he would just try and rev it as much as possible, and 99% of the time it would work.
Yeah, that's one of the many great things about Shane. He could harness his emotions and energy, even when they became angry or let's call them bad emotions, not that they are, but he could harness them for his own benefit, something like that. He's able to harness that and use it as pure emotional drive to succeed with the next delivery. So, he was, very clever at that sort of thing, working. Most people go, I've got angry, I've sent him off, blah, 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 and then they'll go, calm down or I'm going to be a rat bag and it's not going to work for me and I'll make mistakes. Your old man was able to harness those ones and go, that's working for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, very clever.
Were you similar on the footy field? Could you harness that? Definitely.
Rodney Eade, who coached AFL, 3 clubs he coached, played more than a couple of hundred games at Hawthorn. He told me that when he was an assistant coach just starting out and they were coaching against Hawthorn, he was talking to a bloke from the Brisbane team. And he said, I'm playing on Brereton today. I'm going to go out there. And he said, no, you don't. Go out there and tell him jokes. Be calm to him. Just put him in a relaxed state because I was one of those weird
you want a
blokes.
reaction or...
I could think clearly while being uber aggravated, uber angry. I could still think clearly about the task. It didn't set my mind away from, I might have given away free kicks or whatever, but I could still think clearly and see the game. And so Rodney Eade was saying, no, you just tell him jokes. Just keep him calm.
Yeah.
I was able to use, let's say you're in a bad guy, I was able to utilise that in a bad guy to my benefit as well.
Yeah.
And I would call that battle calm. So I don't know, we weren't there, but I would imagine back in the days of old when you're a warrior fighting, some of them are just like scared of being killed. And I get that and I know that's terrifying, but some would be like so angry, but everything's happening in slow motion and they have a battle calm where they're furious, but they're still able to take in all the information around them. So I had a bit of that. Which
You're
I
like,
loved.
I forget the Mel Gibson off Braveheart. You would have been him.
I would have loved to have been him. Yeah. William Wallace, that was,
Yeah, so you're somebody that just in your instinct and DNA, you can be calm under the storm, somebody that also sounds like you thrived under pressure.
Loved it. And I've spoken to the old man about this. He said, dude, what makes you tick? And I said, look, I don't know, but when I'm batting and somebody's really sharp and they're banging them around my ears and I'm thinking, Christ, I could lose a cheekbone here.
Yeah.
He said, well, how do you feel? And I went, I felt really alive.
Yeah.
I'm scared, but I'm alive. And it's just like, give me another one.
So you liked that extra layer of responsibility or pressure?
Yeah, the pressure, I love that element of danger
Yeah.
playing in footy. So And
Stakes,
most of the
almost like stakes. When something's really on the line or when something's really important, that's when you play your best.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So if you went through all that career of mine, every great game I played was against the best teams or finals.
Which is the most important games to
Yeah,
play.
you just rise to the occasion.
When you're playing as well, was your coach or coaches ever giving you advice to just go out there and be yourself, or was it go out there and try and be ruthless, be a killer, or
There's the balance.
because I'm trying to think back to nowadays because I had Campbell Brown on this and I've had Bakes on this.
He's a
and I
ripper,
sometimes,
Campbell. Oh, they're both
Brown
good
dogs.
lads.
Yeah, I've had both of them on there, and obviously it's different eras and definitely different now. But some of their tactics to try and get into the player's head or try and win the games, you just couldn't do nowadays. But then
No.
I ask them, is that something that your thoughts that you're just doing, or is it from coach's advice?
No,
Or is it a balance?
That's just your coach. Back in our day, the coach said, "You're playing in this position. You know your role to the team. Get it done.
Yeah.
You work out how to do it." Anything else that happened beyond that was me taking in. He can. He can't. He's willing, but he can't.
Yeah.
You're taking in all this information,
Yeah.
and so you're using anything you can. I remember it was one day against Essendon. Kevin Sheedy, he not when I ran through their three-quarter time huddle, but he put a bloke on me, and I kicked 3 goals in 10 minutes on this bloke out at Waverley. Three-quarter time huddle came in, and I've just walked past them, and they're just about to start talking. And I yelled over to Kevin. I said, "Kevin!" And he looked up, and I reckon half the team looked up to see alerted to the opposition player who was just casually walking past.
Yeah.
And I yelled out to him, "Don't insult me, mate. Give me someone who can play." And you could see the bloke who I was playing on just drop his shoulders and drop his head. So Kevin's got to make a decision. Do I bunk this guy up and say, have another go at him? Or do I recognise he ain't capable? So little mind games all the way through. I enjoyed those. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly another parallel with Dad. He loved the back and forth with the opposition as well, the psychology of sport, trying to get into other people's heads, the sledging. And you're obviously really smart about it. Sometimes people take it too personal, but with Dad, he just loved trying to figure out, what
That's why he
makes
loves
you tick.
poker.
That's why he loves poker. It's why he likes golf. You probably played golf with him a lot of times.
He did it to me on the golf course, you know.
Yep.
We were playing down at one of those courses, Port Lonsdale or somewhere like that down there. I can't remember where it was. There was Sam, myself, and Grant Thomas, the Saints coach and State of Origin centre-half back.
Yep.
And Sam was an all-time great himself at football. Playing, and of course there's bets going everywhere. And par 5, 500 and a bit. I've got a bit of a tailwind. We all did. And I've driven, for me, what is a really good drive. So I've got about 190 to go, but I've got to carry a pond for 180 metres or so, I reckon.
Yep.
So I've taken out the 5-iron. I'm going to lay up. And your old man's gone,
Wrong club.
"Oh, damn, you're not, are you?" And I go, "What?" And we're playing for money. And he's going, and he's actually dropped the line to me. He's given me the, "I used to admire you."
Oh, no.
And I've gone, bang, give me that 3 wood in the water.
See, that's the stuff that Dad just loved. And then I'm sure after it, he's laughing and saying,
He just laughed his head off. Yeah. Then he laid up.
What club did Sammy use?
Sammy, the last 10 or so years is pretty short. These are beautiful short games still.
Yep.
So Sammy's off the same as me, I think now, 12, 13.
Yep.
But inside, say, 80 metres, 100 metres, inside a 9-iron, you'd look at Sam's game and say, he's off 3 or 4.
Wow.
His short game is still fantastic,
And you still catch up with Sam and play often?
Yeah, frequently. Not with this knee at the moment, and he's got all these ankle issues. But and Tomo, still play with all the boys,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What about, one thing I'd love to ask, what about the Shane Warne Foundation? Do you remember going to some of those events and playing poker
Yeah.
You do? What was the atmosphere like that? Because I always love
I'll
talking about it because
I'll start before that. So, as you know, like Shane and I got on very well and call each other mates. And you get invited to, like you did the SAS
yes,
thing. I'd been invited to various things along the way. Now, my old man was a music teacher, and believe it or not, I was in the school choir as a kid. I knew when I was out of tune. That's all I'd say about my singing. And Channel 9, 25 years ago, had a thing called the Singing Bee, and it was like, and you just turn up, and I'm thinking, oh, all right, okay, it's a celebrity singing bee, and I turned up. I forget who else was there, but they were hopeless. And I somehow won, and then you had to do a range of songs at the end. You had to know the words to them and whatever. And I think it was about $20,000, and I ended up winning.
Mm.
And on the spot, I never gave it a second's thought. And they said, "Dermott, who do you want your $20,000 money to go to charity-wise?" And I went, "Oh, Shane Warne's original."
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
And
even
so
know
I
that.
rang him up on the way home, and he just started yelling, "You beauty!"
Yeah.
So I just said it
thank
on
you,
the
Dermot.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a couple of times where you go on those types of things.
Yeah.
And they ask you, where do you want your money to? If you win a few bob, I used to always say Shane Warne. So yeah.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
Derm. Because
Yeah.
I
Now,
love,
that was the start.
Yeah, because I always love looking back and seeing photos of just the atmosphere and seeing how many different people from all walks of life Dad was able to get in the same room to raise money for sick and underprivileged kids playing poker.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I thought that was just so fascinating.
Well, there's been a couple of the kids along the way. There's some old photos around. I've actually got one on my phone.
Yes, of you.
And little.
I think it might be Will on the MCG.
Yes, and he's in a wheelchair now.
Yes.
He plays.
I'll I'll fact check it. I know
his dad.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, and he.
Austin, sorry.
Austin
Reed.
Yeah, I knew it started with that. Austin.
Yes,
Yeah, he's
Big
old
shout
man.
out to Austin.
Yeah. Aussie. So I see Aussie around. His dad brings him to the occasional gig that, when you're doing an appearance or whatever. Say good day to Aussie. And he helped him with his little suit that he had when he was that big, Austin. He's now a grown man, but he's in wheelchair bound. But yeah, lovely boy. Your old man used to do so much for them. But the thing is, which one of the many things I loved about your dad was there's so many people who put their name to a charity, and that's what they do. They put their name to it. Your dad used to put the name of the charity and then stay in contact with those he'd met from the other side who were the recipients of the needs that his charity would deal out.
Yeah.
Like Aussie. So I as I said, one of the many things I loved about Shane, he was at the coalface.
Yeah.
Meeting the kids, helping the kids, talking with the kids. And they loved that as well.
And he always went over and above to help people. That was like one of the things that I just used to love and still do. Like, I've met so many people over the last few years after Dad's passed that have told me stories either through the foundation or when they've just bumped into Dad out, how much Dad helped them with whatever it was, whether it was financial, a photo, a video, a cricket bat, an autograph, just Dad's time and energy.
Yeah.
They can remember meeting Dad so vividly, even if it was 20 or 30 years ago, which just makes me realise how much of an impact Dad had on everybody.
Yeah.
And that was just him as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I still meet people who actually say to me, "Oh, you knew Warne?" Yeah. I got to meet him once, and he stopped and shook my hand, said good day, and asked me a couple of questions.
Yeah.
And look, don't want to hang it on much the Australian cricket team, but predominantly made up of private school boys.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, I remember when I had been working on radio and afternoon shift, and you'd ring up the media manager, "Can we get such and such?" They said, "I'll ask." No, he's needing a sleep that afternoon. Okay, can we speak to such and such? No, he'll be in the nets at that time. What about after the nets? No, he'll be going straight to another function. It was so, and then it was always like, "Shane, you can have Shane if you want." Well, yeah. All right, yeah. Who's the biggest name? So you kind of went for a few others.
Yeah.
He was always so hospitable, helping out,
Yeah, no, that's just one thing that I always love hearing the stories is just how much Dad helped them.
Yeah.
And I'd love to talk about Devlin for a second. if
Oh,
you're
my
to
boy.
talk. Of course, your boy. I remember the very first time I think I met Devlin was at East Sandy. It was when I was playing for East Sandy and he was playing for Beaumaris.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was the first time I'd met you or met Devlin, and Dad was telling me, oh, that's Dermy and Dermy's son.
Yeah.
And I think Dad described the first story about your personality was the story of when you drove your motorbike into the Metro nightclub. And I said, that guy, motorbike nightclub, that was like my first story of you and your family. Do you remember that night?
Oh, yeah, too, I what?
Yeah.
A lot of people come up to me still and say, oh, that's got to be an urban myth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in Melbourne, the Metro nightclub, and it housed, I think, at capacity, it was something like 2,500 people. It was basically a great big old theatre.
Yeah.
And I had a mate who was one of the entertainment managers in there. And he said, come in, such and such. So I used to go in there once a fortnight, maybe, or whatever. So I was known to them, but not this well known. And I rode my Harley at a Foxtail Custom, the Softail Custom. Yeah. It was a beautiful bike. And it was the early 90s. And the queue to get in was around the corner. There would have been 300 people in the queue. There's probably 2,000 people inside. And I'm looking for a spot to park my bike back into. And it started to spit rain. And I thought, oh, no, I'm not going to leave. So I bumped up the gutter and thought I'll leave it under the bit of the cover awning. And then people were looking at it, and I thought, oh, it kind of feels unsafe. Oh, bugger it. And I went, ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. I just rode it up
the stairs?
Yeah, up into the nightclub and parked it, kicked down the stand, and there was one of the bouncers who I'd known for a while, but you still never know. Some of them can be a bit touchy. Big Robbie. Now, Robbie was...
At this point, you've still got your motorbike helmet on?
Oh, no, I'd taken it off by then.
Off?
So once I got up, I took it off, took my helmet off, kicked the stand down, turned it off.
Yeah.
And Big Robbie was 6 foot, 150 kilos.
Big boy.
Big lad, Samoan.
Yeah.
And he started storming his way over to me, and I put the helmet on the mirror, took the keys out and threw the keys at him, and he caught him, and he's gone, Derm, what are you doing, bro? And I've gone, sure, sweet, Robbie.
Yeah.
And I thought, fair dinkum, he might just punch me in the back of the head here, and just walked off. I went and had a few drinks, had a few more, and I thought, oh, well, I won't ride the bike back. It stayed there for 2 weeks.
It stayed a bit of memorabilia.
Yeah, people thought it was like an auction item, or you could win it, a door prize.
Wow, what a good story. What do you think would happen if somebody did that now?
Oh,
like if a rock star of the footy or the cricketing world just motorbike into the middle of the SB or whatever club is the talk of the town now.
Yeah.
Do you think something would happen to them if it was an AFL player? Do you think they'd get a few weeks suspension or a fine?
I don't know. The club would definitely fine them for bringing the name of the club into disrepute.
Yeah.
Then they'd get told off as well, and they'd be sanctioned by the playing group for going out creating a disturbance. Yeah. The night after a game, I'd played that day as well.
That was after a game?
Oh, yeah.
That is awesome.
Ride your Harley into a nightclub after a game. Yeah.
Was it a night game you played?
No, it would have been an afternoon game, Saturdays,
Wow. That is such a good story.
Yeah.
So back to Devlin, was there any, because I know I get this question all the time, people always say the first time they met me or whatever it is, did you ever feel any pressure growing up to either play cricket, or did your dad ever make you go to the nets or play cricket? Did you ever feel that pressure? And I always like to say, I didn't really feel the pressure at all. Dad wasn't the type of dad to say, you're going to be a cricketer, you're going to be X, Y, Z, go down and then let's go do this. He genuinely just wanted me to be happy, and whatever I was doing at the time, he didn't care. As long as I was happy, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I actually found more love of AFL or tennis, sometimes soccer, and cricket was actually the last sport I played. But with Devlin growing up, was football something he always wanted to play, or he saw you and was like, I want to be like you, or were you just, whatever you want to do, Devlin, you go and do?
He's a mixed bag. You've seen pictures of him, he's massive.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, he's massive. If he walked out onto the apron in WWE, you'd say, that's about right.
Yeah.
He's a mixed bag. He's unbelievably talented. I would say he had league football talent.
Yeah.
He's one of this new generation that he loves singular sports. He loves snowboarding. He loves surfing. He loves downhill bike riding, all those things that are not team sports. Yeah. Yet he loved being with his mates.
Yeah.
When I was taking them when they were about 7 or 8 years old for
You coached them as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
Did you?
yeah. Only for 3 years. I
Yeah.
thought it's for their habit forming, for understanding of what it's like from other direction, other people's direction. He needed to hear the voice of other coaches.
Yeah.
But I'd go down and help with their Auskick training when they were 6, 7, 8, and you're rolling the ball out, and then the person in front, kid, comes out, grabs it, and handballs it back.
Yeah.
And it'd go through the queue to Devlin. He'd be sitting at the front of the line on his ass with his legs open and a Tonka truck just going that in the dirt. And I'm going, Dev, your turn. And you're going, oh, somebody else can go, Dad.
Yeah.
So he was not quite switched onto it, but he was talented. He got to play with Dragons.
Oh, so he played throughout his teens and into 18, 19.
Yeah. Even his final year, he got asked by Hawthorn to play as an overager. And Dragons said, no, we're not taking overages this year. They do some years, but they didn't that year.
What's an overager?
An overage. So it's an under-18 competition for under-18s,
Yeah.
boys who will turn 18 that year.
Okay.
And he had turned 18,
Yeah.
but he was always injured and whatever. And then Hawthorn said, look, we can see he's got talent. We just don't know. And he got asked to go out to Eastern Rangers. So we went out there and played with them. Darren Buick, who used to coach Essendon, he loved him. And, it was round 12 before he got on the park. He just couldn't get out there, just always injured. But the one thing I thought I would have loved him to play league footy. I love the romance of father-son.
It was Dad's dream as well. If he could have waved the magic wand, he would have loved for me to play for St Kilda.
Yeah.
Like I know he never says it like, I wish you did this, I wish you did that, but like we both knew and he had told me, like, would love to see me be a little small forward pocket and just like a bit like the Hig now. Just he would have loved for me to be like
well,
that.
Dev used to play against Higo.
Yeah, at East Malvern.
Yeah,
he would have been, and he would have been Bowie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one day I played him on Higo and Higo won't like it. He shut him down.
Really?
Yeah. But Dev was good with instructions when you gave him a task.
Yeah.
He was a fantastic player, Higo. So when his first night came, when he went out to the Eastern Rangers, they all got their shirts, and on the back up here, on the middle, it'd have the number, and on the back it'd have Warne or Brereton. 50 boys ran out. They all had their shirts on. One had it turned around inside out so you couldn't read his name.
And that
Devlin.
was Dev, yeah.
He just didn't want people to see his surname. Didn't want to feel the pressure.
Yeah.
And that moment, I was like, right, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Is that something he put on himself, or did
Yeah.
you? Yeah. So was it like it's because it sounds like a bit like me as well. You have a great group of mates. They're always so supportive. They're not the type of people who think, oh, you're Warne or you're Brereton, but it's more the negative self-talk that you're putting on yourself. Was Devlin a bit the same? It was.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I'd say so. I almost disserviced him as well. I didn't want people to think, well, Derm's coaching that junior team. He's putting his kid before everyone else and playing him in the midfield. Everyone wants to play in the midfield.
Yeah.
So every game I coached, I would rotate them pretty solidly, but I never really ever started him on the ground.
Yeah.
I always started him on the bench and then put him onto a position.
Yeah.
I think I ever played him on ball, which I should have. I just didn't want other parents to say, you're prioritising.
Yeah.
We actually had a pretty good team, though. I think we had 12 boys who ended up going on and playing Dragons in the TAC. So they were we never won a premiership, but we won. We had a really good team. Yeah.
And would you say they're some of the funnest memories or moments you share with Devlin? Because I love always hearing about people's father-son relationships. And for me, it was always either playing poker with Dad. In our later years, I don't know if you know this too, but we actually got our motorbike license together.
Did you?
We were riding our motorbikes everywhere. And Dad actually got very embarrassed because I got home one day. I said, Dad, I've just booked my motorbike license. I'm doing it. And he had always flirted with that idea of doing it.
Yeah.
And Dad's like, no, hang on. Let me call H. She'll book us. I'll do it. I said, okay.
Good old H.
So a few hours later, Dad's like, all right, we've got a lesson. We're going in tomorrow, just us two. We don't have to do it in a big group. We'll do the course and we'll get our license. I said, great. So we went there for the 2 days. First day was like you do all of the paper and all the tests. And then the second day you do it like actually on the bike and then you go out into the road.
And they make you brake under lights.
Yeah, you take onto the road and all of a sudden you think, shit, there's real cars and real people, real traffic lights. It's all like, shit.
Got to be confident on a motorbike.
Yeah, got to be confident. But then what Dad didn't like was, but what Dad didn't like was high-vis and L plates. So when we were driving out, I'm not even joking, at the very first light, Dad, before he'd put like the visor down, someone's yelled out the car, Warnie! And Dad's just gone, how the fuck has somebody recognized me through through the motorcycle helmet with an L plate and high vis? And as we got back, Dad was like, oh, that was just, I didn't like that at 50 years old. I said, it's fine. We've all got to do it. And he's like, okay.
Everyone's a kook at some stage.
Yeah, everyone's a kook. And he's got to try and figure it out. But then I think for 6 months, you've got to wait to get your full test and everything like that. Anyway, Dad one day drove down to Junction Oval for one of the mentoring for the cricket.
Yep.
And it was either with Melbourne Stars or Bushrangers, I can't remember. But he said when he rocked up, they all knew it was Dad. He had like a Yamaha V-Rod. It was like a Harley engine, but it was a Yamaha.
Yep.
And really loud. Everyone's looking. Everyone knew it was Dad. But he had the high vis. He had the L plate on. And when he took the helmet off, everyone was laughing and a bit of the clapping. And Dad's like, all right, I can't do that again. So he didn't end up riding the bike and never got the full license. But then when I got my full license, Dad was like, Jacko, I'm still a better rider than you. And so anyway, it was downstairs
He's so
here.
competitive.
Yeah, downstairs here. He's like, I used to ride motorbikes on the farm. It's whatever. And as you would know, you can't necessarily kick the back wheel out of a motorbike. That's not how it works. So how he thought he could do it. He's riding, tries to do that, but he's just slammed on the brakes. It's all locked up. The bike's slid. He's done 2 or 3 rolls and he's gone, fuck. And he's completely grazed his side of his body, his elbow, his shin. He's nearly hit someone's car.
That's the overconfident bit.
That's the overconfidence bit. He's nearly hit somebody's car and then he never rode it since. The mirror's still broken and he never rode the motorbike again.
Yeah. Right. And that would have been cool though.
It was cool because,
I
remember just riding my motorbike and Dad would be driving and like to me that was awesome. Like along Beach Road and the Nepean Highway, just like not saying racing but racing. Like it was just cool.
My son, Devlin, and his mate Ollie Florent, who plays for Carlton. Ollie's dad, who's passed away, cancer, several years ago, he has a hotted up Holden HZ 5 litre, and I've sold it just recently. But I had an XY Falcon with 351 Cleveland stroked out in it, and those two used to drive up and down Beach Road together. These two magical muscle car monsters up Beach Road. They used to just drive up and down. I'm like, why don't you go together and then take the different car the next day? But they used to do stuff like that. Yeah.
It's so cool. Now, before we wrap up, I've got a few thank yous.
I've got a story for you.
Yes, please.
Which I've never told you before. And when I was driving here, I'm thinking, what haven't I told Jacko before?
And actually, before you tell me this story,
Go on.
I'd love at the end of this story, and you've told me before, but the first time you meet Dad, because I find it one of the funniest stories. So tell me this story
go that
first. Whatever you prefer.
I'll go that first.
Okay.
So I'm at a lot of this happens in hotels. I'm at the Saloon Bar Hotel in Toorak, I think it is. Toorak, South Yarra. Anyway, Brendan McArdle, bushy, great fella, played for Northcote, played cricket for Victoria. Yeah. He's walked up to me and he said, "Hey, Derm, how you going?" I said, "Hey, Bush, how are you?" And we're playing pool on a Monday night. And anyway, he's gone, "There's this young fella over here. He's played a couple of games for Victoria and he's going to be the next great leg spinner for Australia." And I said, "Bushy, Australia hasn't had a leg spinner for 25 years. Terry Jenner was the last one. We don't make leg spinners anymore." I said, "Mate, he's going to be a star." I said, "Yeah, all right." That's cool. And he said, "I'd love him to meet you." He said, "You're his idol."
Yeah, you're
as
his
a
hero.
footballer.
Yeah.
And anyway, He's gone. And Shane starts walking over. And although he got quite body conscious by the end, Shane,
Yeah.
at this stage, body consciousness was not
Yeah.
prioritised. He'd have been 8-10 kilos overweight.
Yeah.
He had puddingy jowls. He'd been shaving to go out, but you could see he'd missed a couple of spots here or there.
Yeah.
He had the earring in. He had spiky mullet hair.
Yeah.
He had a fag in his hand already. Put it to the other hand, and he's coming. G'day, Derm. How are you? And I said, hey, mate, Shane? Yeah, how are you, Shane? And he's going, yeah, we chatted, and he was really engaging. He was very engaging. I thought, I really like this kid. Anyway, he walked to the other side of the room after 5-10 minutes, and Bushy said, yeah, he's a nice kid, isn't he? He said, yeah. But if you reckon he's going to play for Australia, how wrong did I get that?
It's such a good story because I can picture exactly.
He was confident.
Yeah, I can picture exactly the version of Dad you would have met and how he looked and would have sounded and that larrikin bogany side of Dad.
Yeah, he was very confident though already.
Yeah.
I liked it.
You liked it.
Really, really liked it. Yeah, I was fond of him right then and there. And then I actually followed him. He didn't play that many state games though, did he? Before he got a test.
No, not many because he played a few and then got into the side pretty quickly. And then when he was in the side, he was pretty much had a permanent spot. He got dropped once I think, or a few times, and then injuries and
he
other
copped
stuff.
a bit of tap the first game, didn't he? One for 100 and something.
150.
Yeah. But I'm thinking from memory, he only played about 6, 7, 8.
But he did love going
Sheffield
back
Shield?
to Bushrangers later on in his career when he was either doing rehab work or
he
loved playing for Victoria. He loved representing Melbourne.
Yeah.
Loved playing at Junction Oval.
Yeah. He was great like that. Now, it's fair to say that along the way, Shane has been fond of the female species. It's fair to say that I shared that same view. I was separated, divorced in 2000 with 2 kids, and I would have them Tuesday night through to Thursday morning, drop them back at school. And about 20 years ago from current day, so kids about 5 and about 8, I'm living in Albert Park, and a friend rings up and says, what are you doing Wednesday night? And I said, oh, not much, just at home with the kids. I've got a function going on. I'm chaperoning a special guest who's out here to promote M&Ms, green M&Ms, the addition of green M&Ms into the M&M
Colours.
confectionery.
Yeah.
Anyway, I said, cool, all right. Well, I said, it's only a few hundred metres away. It's at the Carousel Hotel on Albert Park. I said, all right, so I'll walk over. It literally was 400 or 500 metres away, where the Grand Prix is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the special guest they'd flown out, God knows how much they paid her, was Pamela Anderson. Yeah. And she's come out and she's wearing a green dress. She looks just smoking hot. She's Pamela Anderson. This is her and her.
At the peak. And
glory days. And the person I knew, Sue, she's chaperoning around and in the room before she speaks and whatever. And then she's going to have dinner out the back in the restaurant after her and her entourage of half a dozen people. And so Sue's walking through the crowd and introducing Pamela Anderson, and I felt so sorry for her. I saw her walking through the crowd and blokes were trying one-liners on her, and I'm going, oh, that's crash and burn stuff. Oh, you idiot. Why would you do that? Poor girl.
Yeah.
She's getting hit on every second of her life.
Yeah.
Anyway, my friend, the chaperone, brings her closer and says, now, Pam, this is Dermott, Pam. And she says, she looks up and says, hi, how do you do? She's really nice and polite. And my friend starts giving her an introduction. So now Dermott is this, and this, and and really favourable. And I'm thinking, oh,
pumping you up.
Geez, she's trying to matchmake me with her. And I'm like, wow, this is a bit out of my league.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, her final thing was, and your Derm's a bit of a man about town. He knows where to go and whatever. And Pamela Anderson leans in and goes, "Where can we go later tonight?" And she meant for her and her entourage because she was appearing on the show Rove after she does this presentation.
Yeah.
So she meant 11 o'clock at night, her entourage to go out and that. But hearing her whisper in close to my ear, "Where can we go later tonight?" I choked. I went, and the only thing I could get out was, "Not sure, I'm out of the loop," because I normally have my kids on a Wednesday night. Now, Crastenburn, and she burst out laughing and said,
"Oh, she liked
You're
it.
funny. You're funny."
Yeah.
And she said, "Would you like to have dinner with me?" And I went, "Oh, shit, yeah." Anyway, so I'm like, wow. And anyway, I'm going to dinner with Pamela Anderson. And she walks up on stage and does her bit, and she's ditzy and whatever. And she wasn't ditzy at all. When you spoke to her one-on-one, she was as sharp as a tack, really clever lady.
Yeah.
So she was doing all the Pammy Anderson stuff on stage. Anyway, so my friend Sue comes back and goes, "Oh, you want to slide through and go through and have dinner with Pam now?" And I'm thinking, I'll sit on the table with Pam and there'll be 3 or 4 other people there, the entourage and that. So I go through and I get to the restaurant, Pamela Anderson sitting where you are, and on her right is Shane Warne. He's already sitting there.
Oh, no.
So but she was really kind.
Yeah.
She went, "Come here," I sat on the other side of her. Yeah.
So it was Dad, Pamela Anderson, and you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did Dad know you were going to be there?
No.
And
I
he didn't know he was going to be
but when
there.
he saw me, he's looked up and gone, "Oh, damn."
Oh, what a good story.
But she was clever. She was sharp.
Yeah.
But the old man was just hilarious. It's just, who else would be sitting next to Pamela Anderson when you're going to go and have dinner with her? Yeah, beautiful.
Oh, that is awesome. And did you ever stay in contact with her after that?
No. That was just one of those things. I would have seemed like a dag. In fact, I saw her. I was in Aspen once.
Because I think she's coming to Melbourne soon, isn't she?
Is she? I don't know. I saw her in Aspen once, and she was driving. I was staying in Ian Dicker's house. Down Cemetery Lane, and she was, and beautiful big houses there. So she was staying in one of those houses, and this is about 5-6 years later, and she's driving down with her partner at the time in a car. So they're only doing 5k per hour because it's wet and slushy and snowy. Driving down, and she's passed a metre past as I'm walking up the road with my snowboard, and I've waved. I've just gone like that, thinking, "Oh, hope you remember me." And she's eyes down straight ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't remember me. Didn't think she would, but yeah.
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Pleasure.
Well, before we wrap up, I've got a few thank yous.
Yeah.
The first thank you I have to say is thank you so much for your video piece for Dad's State Memorial.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the nicest. And I know I've spoken about that night a few times because what everyone was able to do in such a short amount of time when everybody's emotional and still can't fathom what's actually happened, for you to, have the courage and talk about Dad the way you did was lovely. So thank you for that.
Pleasure.
And the second one is thank you for representing the Shane Warne legacy next week at Gather Round. Yeah. Which will be massive. So I'll be there Friday and Saturday and Sunday. I think you're there most of the week. Are you there for most of the week?
Yes. The whole week.
The whole week.
Yeah, I'm going to be there the whole week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you for representing the legacy for that, because I know there'd be Dad up there, especially during AFL and Gather Round, and especially because he wanted to be you when he was younger. Have the 23, the mullet, the earrings.
Surpassed that, sorry. Yeah.
But all of that, you're like the perfect fit for it. So thank you so much for doing that.
My pleasure. It's an absolute honour to do it. The friendship I had with Shane. He's been he gave me a cricket bat, I told you. Gave me a watch once.
Yeah. Well, are you a watch man?
I love my watches,
Which watch did he give you? Because I know his his favourites were Breitling, Panerai, and Hublot. And I've got my love for Hublot from him because I love Hublot.
Yeah. It was an Hublot, and he had engraved on the back 23. So we both share
awesome.
that. Yeah. So
how good is that?
Yeah. So it's I miss him. Yeah. It's understandable. Yeah, tremendous. You know that Billy Joel song where he goes, "We didn't start the fire," and they name all things about.
Yeah.
I was listening to that the other day. It came on the radio, and I don't know why. I was just thinking, if that song was redone and you went over the 90s and the 2000s, he'd get a mention.
Yeah.
He'd be in that type of song.
Yeah.
He's that big on the landscape
Yeah.
worldwide.
Yeah. No, I miss him as well. And it still doesn't feel real that, you know, a few days ago it was his 4-year anniversary from the State Memorial. And that the last 4 years for me has gone like that.
Yeah.
And that whole month of March for me feels like a bit of a blur, but yeah, it's gone quick. So thank you for opening up and
My
sharing
pleasure.
stories about him.
Yeah, pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks, Dermy.
Pleasure.